Trig, Chapter 4, Problem 44. This is the graphing one. So the first thing we need to do, I guess, is graph this thing. We're going to use a vertical axis and a horizontal axis. See if I can do this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. But we're going to go a couple more. They want you to do even 2 years. So let's count by twos. This will go January the next year, February the next year. And the reason for that is our numbers are from about 65 down to 45. So we need 50, 55, and 60 in between here. So this is going to be 55. And then we need to plot these points. So I'm going to plot them in a different color. For January, it's 60.8, someplace right here. February, 61.7, a little higher. March, 58.8, that's right around 60. 54.5, 4.9, I guess, is right around 55. 51 point, and then 47.1, so we're moving down until we get to 45.5, 46.8, 49.5 is almost 50. October is 52.5, 55, and 58.8 again. But now we're going to transfer also January 60.8 and 61. So really this is February to February. And what we're trying to do is see if we can match this curve with a trig equation. Well, remember, y is equal to c plus a times some function b x minus d. So how do we find these? Well, the maximum is 61.7. The minimum is 45.5. When we subtract the two, we get a 2. Let's see. 11 minus 5 is 6. And 5 minus 4 is 1. Half of that should give us 8.1. This is what A is. This is what it is from the middle up and the middle down. Well, what's the middle, you ask? Well, that's the max plus the min. The 61.7 plus the 45.5. So we get 12, and then a 7, and then a 10. And half of that should give us the middle, the C, how far it's moved off the x-axis. That should be 53.6. That's what C is. Oops. C is down here. So 53.6 is someplace right in here. If you add 8.1, you get 7, 8, 11. So it's 8 by 3, 14. Let's see here. 8.1 to 53. Oh, 8. So that's 61 point something. So that's what we wanted. The top is 61. If you subtract 8.1 from this, you should get the bottom, the 45.5. That works. Okay, good. So we've got A and we've got C, but where does it start? Well, normally, what function is this? The function is going to be the cosine. Now, you might want to use the sine, but in this case, it really looks like a cosine to me, and that's why probably they wanted to use 2 years so they could start you someplace else. But that's the function I'm going to use because I can see it. We've got the C and the A. The B, this period goes from 2 to 14, right? So the period should be 12. That's the new period. The normal period is 2 pi. And B, if we divide by that B value, we should get 12. Well, that means that B has to be 2 pi over 12 or pi over 6. So we've got B, we've got the function, we've got C and A. Now we need D. How far did it move? It moved 2 to the right. So D is equal to 2. So our function, y equals C, which C is 53.6. A is 8.1. The cosine, B is pi over 6. X minus 2. Okay. How do we check and see if that works? Well, we get our calculator out. I'm going to bring out this brand new one, a Ttig ch4. Now, we need to get out of this, I guess. Clear out that screen. To put in the data, you press Stat, then Edit. Clear these L1 and L2. I always use those. Clear out L1. You go to the name, press Clear, then Enter. Go to the name of L2, press Clear, then Enter. And now those are all clean to use. The values that you've got here are just 1 through 14. This takes a little time, but you want to be accurate. You don't want to make any silly mistakes. And I hope I'm not making any. Sometimes I don't look up when I should. There's 12, then we want 13 and 14. So we should be at the 15th spot. Now we've got to go over and put these other values in. 60.8, 61.7, 58.8, 54.9, 51.1, 47.1, 45.5, 46.8, 49.5, 52.2, 55, you can put in a 0.0, but it'll just erase it. 58.8. Then we repeat January, 60.8 and 61.7. Okay. Now that we've got that in, we're going to set up our stat plot. Second, y equals. The stat plots, when you go into plot 1, I almost always use plot 1, turn it on by pressing Enter to highlight the on. This first is the scatter plot. That's what we want. To get L1, you can do a second 1. To get L2, you can do a second 2. Those are your X and Y list. And the mark. Now, if you've got the newer calculators, you can even print pretty colors. We don't really need that here. To get the window, you can go to Window and set up this window, but right now it's really screwy. It's faster if you've got data to do a zoom and down to number 9, zoom stat. And it picks your window depending upon the stat or the statistics. So we're going from this, the 2, until we get to the 14. That's our cosine curve. Now ours isn't as nice maybe, but it looks pretty good. Let's put in our y equals. What was that again? That was 53.6 plus 8.1 cosine, and it gives you a left paren, so we just need the pi over 6. Then another left paren, the x was a minus 2, and close the parentheses. Now we can graph it, see what happens. What? Well, what's going on here? Here we get a straight line like that. Go into mode. Make sure you're in radian mode when you graph these. Okay, now let's try it. Second quit. And graph. That's better. Now we missed a little bit. We went to the right. Maybe we didn't really start at 2, or yeah, I think we just move this back a little bit. So I'm going to go to that 2 right here to the end. Now this 2, I found that 1.25 works. Notice you cover up things. If you want to insert, second delete will get into insert mode. Make sure you put both parentheses. In this case, it probably wouldn't make any difference, but it's nice to do it right. There we go. Is that hitting it pretty good? Yes. Okay. That is a pretty good graph. But you might say, man, that's a lot of work, and I don't have these pretty colors. You can also go into Stat, over to Calc, and go down until you see Sine Reg. This is a sine regression curve. Press Enter. Now you will get choices. The first one is period. Don't worry about that. The X list is the second 1 for L1. I need to put a comma. The Y list is second 2 for L2. I need a comma. And don't worry about the other things to fill in, except for stow reg EQ. We're going to store the regression equation into L2. So we need vars, the button right here. Y vars is right arrow. Function is number 1. And Y2 is number 2. So it's going to calculate this regression curve according to the data and put its answer into Y2. Press Enter. It takes a little time. It's got to do a bunch of calculations. Notice here they use sine instead of cosine, so ours are going to be different. Also notice this b is not factored out. It's just bx plus c inside here, and they switch the c and the d. So you can't use this exactly as is, but if you wanted to, you could. But except for the cosine, ours is cosine. But some of these can be close. Notice the d on the outside is like the c on our outside. We said 53.6, they said 53.7. The c is like the d. We said 1.25. I guess we changed that to. And they said 0.95. But they also got to be careful because b is a little different, although it's not bad here. B is the same because you take pi, which is about 3, and divide it by 6, you get about 1/2, 3/6. A7 though, 0.7 is not as high, or I said 8.1. Let's see how this fits. Let's graph this. So this is ours, what we put in Y1. And then it's the calculator's regression curve, which barely peeks out from underneath ours. So we didn't do a bad job at all. That's how you do it on the calculator.